Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabanser, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment. We give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a hell of a show for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel, and be sure to hit all notifications to be notified the second we drop our content. Anyway, let me get into this topic here. So LeBron James made a lot of headlines, him and JJ Redick with his new podcast, Mind the Game. Last time I checked, I think the podcast has about maybe close to 200,000 subs, and I think the debut show has about 1 million views, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's already, no, 1 million plus views as we currently speak. So there's a lot of interest. A lot of people are tuning in to hear what LeBron has to say predominantly, because we already know what JJ Redick has. You know, we are already aware of JJ Redick talking basketball, but we seldom hear LeBron James discuss it at this level. And I tuned in, I saw a little bit of it, and they were getting really into the intricacies of the sport, getting into the various the jargon and the lingo that they use in basketball. Some of it that obviously we would not be privy to because none of us play. Well, not a good amount of us will not know that. So from an educational standpoint, it's quite educational. Now, do I need to know all of those players' plays, those names? No, because I'm not dissecting the game to that level. I'm not coaching the game. I'm not running plays or anything like that. But nevertheless, it was good for, in terms of enhancing one's general basketball knowledge. But amongst those things, they also got into the headline parts of it and talking about topics and all of that. It wasn't just basketball. Throughout that conversation, they got to a part where they were discussing, the most influential players in the NBA in terms of since LeBron James has been watching and covering basketball. And some people seem to be under this confusion that no, he said since Michael Jordan. He didn't say that. So what we want to do is want to play exactly what LeBron James said yesterday again to finally put this point to rest of exactly what he said. Take a listen to what LeBron actually said versus what these guys on the internet are saying. Take a listen to what he had to say here.
Because I believe in 08, 09, or whenever that little light skin came in the league, that's in Golden State, he changed that whole narrative. He did. He single-handedly changed the no lead is safe. It's like Pat Mahomes right now.
It's interesting you bring up Steph, because I think there's
Love that guy,
a long history of
Steph.
Great players that have impacted the game. And you can see a lineage between different skill sets, right? Michael to Kobe, right? You can see that.
Yep.
I don't know that there's been a player that has influenced the game more than Steph. And you can certainly point to like Harden for sure in that era, Damian Lillard for sure, but you're right, it started with Steph.
When it comes to influence, since I've been watching the game, the most influence on the game, and obviously we know what Mike did for the game.
Sure.
Well, Steph and Allen Iverson are the two biggest influential guys in our game since I've been watching and covering it. One, they're 6'3", 6'4", if you want to.
Steph's not 6'4".
If you want to look on the back of a basketball card, you're always a lot taller on the back of the basketball card. Allen Iverson and Steph, they were just so relatable, and kids felt like they could be them. They were guys that was not always counted on. They were small in stature, and they just defined the odds. So you got AI, who's like unbelievable crossover, cornrows, arm sleeve. We wear arm sleeve. Everyone wears an arm sleeve now because of Allen Iverson. And he's going in the trenches, laying it up over bigs, whatever the case may be. And now you have Steph, who's shooting over the Empire State Building. It's like those two are the two most influential when you say the game, how they changed the game, and the kids, and like, those are two guys that you just wanted to watch every single night.
So you heard what LeBron had to say. So yesterday I tuned in to see what Kendrick Perkins said, and he called out LeBron. He said LeBron was basically lying, and that's a LeBron guy saying that, by the way, not me. So as they were talking, Austin Rivers then tried to dress it up like they always do. They're like, no, well, he didn't really mean that, and they all looked at him like, bro, stop. We're going off of what he said, not what you think he meant. We can all sit here and make inferences. Right? You can be standing outside looking at a bird is looking at you. You think, oh, he's looking at me because he's hungry. No, he might also think you ugly. So we're not going to get into all of that. We're going to get into actually what he actually said. So they were talking, it got to the point where Malika Andrews and Brian Windhorst basically started to clown LeBron. And she's like, but the most influential, whose jersey number you wearing? So for those of you who missed what Malika Andrews and Brian Windhorst had to say, want to play for you now, and then we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to what they had to say here.
Iverson changed the game.
2005?
Huh?
You're saying since 2005?
Huh?
Yeah, we talk about all time, bro. Like,
Okay, well,
it's Jordan.
Okay, so if we're going all time outside of
let me ask
it
you a
would
question,
still- it would
though.
still
Let me
be
ask you a
Iverson
question.
and Steph.
Okay, but
What number, Brian Windhorst,
He didn't say outside
does
the end.
LeBron James wear?
Thank you.
23.
What number does LeBron James wear?
Thank you.
And why does he wear it?
Look, the reason I find this hilarious is because LeBron and JJ started this podcast because they were tired of watching on TV discussions about like LeBron versus Jordan. They wanted like a more higher level discussion about pick the picker and screen the screener and stuff. And what comes out of the first podcast? A discussion about LeBron and Jordan. And again, he's asking about influential. LeBron was influenced by Michael Jordan by almost more than anybody until he got to be 17 years old. He wears number 23.
Right.
I mean,
But you understand what he's saying, though, right?
yes, I understand.
They did have an influence and they were
The
powerful.
entire NBA
Well,
today
and
plays
also,
like Stephen Curry.
is this
They
just
play like Stephen Curry.
an influence was probably that's a specifically chosen word so that it's not the
I know.
greatest.
This is
so
JJ.
it's
You
not
always
the-
got to be careful about guys from Duke.
They have their thesauruses.
And JJ
Thesauri?
set him up. JJ set him up. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, well,
So you heard what they had to say. Listen, here are my thoughts about all of this. I think that few things are going to happen. I think this podcast that they're doing is going to get a lot of views. I think they're going to get a lot of subscribers. But I also think it could backfire in a few ways, which is when you go out there and have these gaffes like you did yesterday, it's going to cause a lot of people to go back at you and laugh at you. And that's why I said this is fantastic because it's going to give us more stuff to talk about. When you go out there and you say these type of things, people will react to you and people will call you out and people will push back. And once again, I think that is necessary. The fact of the matter is the following. Big media is not going to do it. You're going to seldom see people in big media do it. Former NBA players are not going to do it because a lot of these guys do not want to disagree with one another. They don't, right? You rarely hear an NBA player take a different position on a show with somebody he's cool with and say, you know what, I totally disagree with you. It's all about being agreeable. The people that I believe are going to hold these guys' feet to the fire are the independent creators. Maybe Rob Parker, Chris Broussard from certain times will do it, but it's really going to be us. Why? Because we don't have that connection. The only connection we have is to the sport and maybe to our audience. And to me, I think whether you agree with them or not, you need to say what you actually think. That's the point. If you 100% agree with what LeBron and these guys are saying, then say it. Let's say I do. But if there are other people out there that disagree, that want to push back, they should be allowed to have a voice and react to these matters. And we're the ones that are going to be pushing back. But yesterday they tried to make it seem like this sanctimonious thing of we were just talking sports. It's like, well, here you are finding yourself getting into the mix again, talking about things that pretty much anybody else will be talking about. If we want to talk about the X's and O's of basketball, I've already seen this before. Kobe Bryant did detail. It was strictly basketball. Period. End of story. He would take a player, dissect their game down to the molecular level, break it down, all of these different things, and you're done. We didn't get into who he thought he was greater. No, that's why they call it detail. Kobe already did this at a much, much higher, more intelligent level. I'm sorry. I'm just sorry. Like, JJ Redick is fantastic when they talk about basketball. You can't put him in the same universe with him and Kobe Bryant talking about. You just can't. You cannot. Because Kobe was a much greater player. So Kobe Bryant could give you insights that only a player at that level could. So I've already seen this before. Nevertheless, this is something different, but it's not different at the same time. And what also I found interesting was that Draymond Green, who's a friend of LeBron, he was actually complaining about, hey man, you went to JJ Redick, why you didn't come to my podcast? I'm sure they'll iron that out. I'm sure Draymond was joking about it and probably not, but half truth to it. But anyway, this is what's going to happen, and expect it to happen because gaffes will take place. Gaffes will take place. It's in terms of an educational level, it was very, very educational. There's one thing I will say though, and I think we need to just kind of bear this in mind. Sports, music, movies are all under the category of entertainment. usually when people go and indulge in these things, sports, music, entertainment, they do it as an escape. They do it as a form of enjoyment. They don't do it because they now want to go take another class. I want to watch a great movie. Do I want to know how it's made? Probably not. I want to listen to a great song. Do I want to know the process that went into making that song? No, because my intention is to listen and enjoy. Basketball is something that you watch for your leisure. Do people want to sit down and learn it to the molecular level? Some, absolutely. But most of us just want to be entertained because that's what it is. Because we already have our jobs. And I'm not looking to take on another job and study this. For what reason? Why would I do that? If I go watch a great movie, I don't want to study how films are made. If I have a job, I want to study my craft. I don't want to study your craft. So I think there's an element of that where we need to be careful, where we don't turn into like when it doesn't become didactic. You know, you're basically in struggle. You need to learn to like stop. It's sports. It's entertainment. So these are my thoughts. Whatever you guys think, leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you guys on the next show. Peace.